Welcome, Anna. Welcome, Jussi. See you later.
Thank you. Yes, Jussi and I would like to speak a little bit about, some of the key things we think to the success that we have qualified for the Euros, which we think is fantastic, and we're really looking forward to it. There are, of course, not one or two things why a team is successful, and you of anyone know that are coaches out there. So there are a lot of different things. But what we have chosen to present for you today is a little bit on how we work with the analysis process, and a little bit in that sense what we have taken out of the difference between the qualification tournament or qualification campaign, you can say, 2019 and the one we had 2021. And then I will do a little bit of take some things out of the Sweden-Finland game, because I think in that one we can see our progress in the last years, and we can also see where we still have the gaps to the best team in the world. I think it's very interesting. So let's start with Jussi. Jussi is our video analyst, and he is with us today from Jyväskylä, and I'm going to click on the slides for him, and he will do the talking.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. Really nice to be here. It's a pleasure. I remember us being in Eerikkilä last time, a few years back, but it's great that we can still have this seminar remotely, although we can't have it in Eerikkilä, which would be even better. Our first slide, I think Anna said very well that we're actually on a very good track, and it's we've qualified for the Euros, and it's been a lot of work to get there, and I think the players have been fantastic, and of course working with Anna has been a pleasure, although I had a year that I was elsewhere working, but it's been good, and you can see it also in the FIFA ranking that we're actually moving up in this graph, because 0 is up, and that would be the best. Of course it will stop at 1. So Anna, can you give me, I'll briefly introduce how we analyze and what's actually there when we're working with games and long-term development in terms of technical analysis. So we have quite a big staff, and of course we have a lot of specialists involved. So we have the technical coaching staff with Anna, Rosa Lappi-Seppälä, Ann-Helene Graham, and goalkeeping coach Tommi Laitila. Then we have a scouting team led by Lars Musander, which they're excellent scouts, and we get a lot of reports beforehand on our opponents. And of course, they're specialists, they're experienced coaches. So we also get a lot of information on our own game. And then we have, to complement the actual game, we need to understand also the fitness, which is one key element of the game. So we have a high performance coach, Kristoffer Bäckström, and it's a continuous exchange of information and ideas, and that's kind of the key. And I think what this really important thing is that what are we actually doing and how are we actually now analyzing? And it's when we're thinking about technical analysis, it's two main parts in there. So there's the quantitative analysis, which is numbers, and we have great amount of data now thanks to the support of the federation. We have Instat, we have Stats, and we have a lot of video material which we can generate something more. We have Polar data, which is quantitative data. It's what that actually gives us is the answer to the question, what has happened? It doesn't really give us more profound or deep information, but it can explain what has happened. It's simple actions and the big picture. And then there's the qualitative side, which is where the specialists come in. Why did this happen? Why did we not perform at the level that we were supposed to? And I think we have an excellent communication in our staff right now, because that quantitative part, it's a lot about number crunching, and we, together with the coaching staff, we set the key KPIs, the key performance indicators that really drive us with what we believe, how can we actually be better and in winning games, which we're already excellent at, and what do the numbers tell us about these things. And that's a cooperation that's great. And after we have that, like initial analysis of the situation, we have an understanding of what has happened. Then we go to the qualitative analysis, where the actual specialists, the experience of our coaching staff, maybe some technical specialists come in, and that's really when we understand profoundly that why something has happened and what we can do about it in the future. Anna, can you give me the next slide? So a brief analysis. I understand this will be a lot of numbers and some graphs, and you won't be happy because it's not a lot of football pitches here, but really to understand what has happened in the qualifications and why we actually made it to the Euros. So 2019 World Cup qualifiers. It's a lot. It feels like ages ago, but it really was only 4 years ago. We finished third in the group, got 1.25 points a game. We had a really tough group with Spain, which we will be playing in the summer as well, and Austria, and we lost all those games compared to the Euro, which we were the group winners with 2.75 points per game. If you look at really the basic statistics here, the interesting difference is actually the expected goals for. So if you're looking at this, it actually that we were better in attacking, but somewhat if you looked at those games, it's good to understand also why we were, and we were excellent defending in the Euro qualification, but we'll get to that a bit later. Can I get that next slide? So now we get to the fun graph part where everyone enjoys. So when we were attacking and creating chances in the 2019 qualifications, so we had 15.5 entrances into the opponent box, almost 11 shots and 4 shots on target each game. The thing here that's for me interesting when I look at this is that we're actually attacking quite much through the wide areas, which is also in our style of play, but also we have a quite low amount of counter attacks which generate shots if you think about our attack type. So to understand this graph to the right, the blue one is positional attacks where we haven't shot. The yellow one is counter attacks without a shot. Then there's the pink one, which is a positional attack with shots, and then the red one, which is counter attacks with shots. And now when we compare that to the next one, if we go to the Euro 21 qualification, we're actually getting more quality from our attacks. So we have doubled the amount of attacks from positional attacks that generate shots, and tripled the amount of counter attacks that generate shots. And that's really one key element in our game, that we're very good in transitions, which Anna will probably show from the Sweden game as well. And this is one of the most important things, that actually we don't need to attack more, which we also did a bit in the Euro qualification, in the sense that we had more entrances into the opponent's box. But actually the amount of attacks is more in the World Cup qualification. So it's not about how much we attack, it's actually about increasing the quality and increasing the amount of attacks that generate shots, and especially in transitions. Could I get that next one, Anna? So, few brief conclusions about our attacking game. Like I said, we attack more and more dangerously through counterattacks, and that's really one key element. And you probably remember a lot of great goals from the Euro qualification, and also now in the ongoing World Cup qualification, that's been great transition goals. And that's really when I enjoy looking at our games afterwards, when I see those really fast transitions where we can really hurt our opponents. And I think that the one part of our analysis why we actually did qualify is that we had great speed in the counters, and from the positional attacks we were able to generate chances. So it was not just about having possession on opponent's half, but actually about penetrating the lines and getting in behind or getting across into the box, which will generate a chance for us. Yeah, briefly on defending, if I can get the next one. And this is kind of, if you're looking, if you remember the slide about attacking in the World Cup qualification, it's quite similar. So we actually attacked and defended quite like 50-50. So it's no difference, or a very small difference between how our opponents created chances against us and we against them. Although there was a higher amount of positional attacks that generated shots against us, and that's probably also because we played very possession-oriented great teams like Austria and Spain. But it's still, we were okay defending, but we conceded 6 shots per game, which is quite a lot if you're thinking shots on target. So if you compare that to the next one, where we go to the Euro qualification, where we conceded only 2 shots against us, and the amount of attacks it's just dropping. And proportionally, yeah, we're conceding quite a lot on positional attacks of those shots. But if you're looking at the amount of actual shots that get all the way to the goalkeeper, shots on target, that's very low with 2 shots a game. And that's when you really get the chance of winning. So what we analyzed and concluded about this is that, if you get the next slide, please, is that, of course, attacking is important for us, and we need to be good on transitions and also on positional attacks. But really, it's for us, defense is one key element of our game. Of course, one thing that actually we did, when you look at qualitative side, we dropped a bit off against the most, like Scotland, the toughest games. But it's not about just being in the block. It's about being able to still be aggressive in the block and really being compact. And when you're looking at what's the most important part and what's been really great looking at our players now is the defending in the box, and how we always get in front of those shots, and we're always there when the situation comes up. So I think that's really one part which the data also shows us, where we've developed our game in the recent years. And often when we speak about games and analysis, it's open play. But one really important thing, if I get the next one, is the set plays that we played. If you look at the World Cup qualification, it's not, when you look at the amount of set plays that come up in a game and how many of those generate shots and goals, it's quite a little. But we know football is the low scoring game, so those few goals will actually make a difference. And instead of conceding 3 goals, which we did in the World Cup qualification, we conceded 0 in the Euro 21 campaign, which is, it really gives you the chance to win those games. And it's so important for us that we defend well. Of course, if you look at really what it's about, we actually conceded 1 set play goal, which was the penalty against Portugal. But if you look at like corners, free kicks, we did not actually concede a single goal and scored 2 goals in very important situations for us in tough games. So I think that's also one of the data elements showing us why we actually qualified for the Euros. I'm ready to give it over to you, Anna, about Finland and Sweden.
Yes, I don't know if you hear me, but thank you very much, Jussi. That was excellent. Yeah, we thought that, first of all, maybe some of you watched the Finland-Sweden game. We're quite happy to say that we had actually over 220,000 viewers on Yle that watched the game. So that was really a good figure. I think the Sweden game shows we play against one of the best teams in the world. I think Sweden proved that when they were in the Olympics, that they have that quality. Yes, they were missing a couple of players in this game. However, the depth in the squad in Sweden is so vast. So I think we still can say that we played against the best team in the world, or one of the best teams in the world. And I think then to look at that game and see, okay, what was it that we did really well in this game? And what do we now need to do? Because when we go to the Euros, we will have 3 Sweden games within 12 days. So you play a game, you rest 3 days. You play a game, you rest 3 days. And as you know, the schedule is Spain, then Denmark, and the last Germany. So what do we need to do from now and to the Euros? How can we impact, and what can we do? So I took some clips, and we did it a little bit like this in... I need to do it like that. Sorry. Yeah, I took some clips from... this is from the first half, just to show then... I think that one thing that we have developed is actually to find solutions and to deal with pressured situations, and to technically and tactically take us out of really tight areas and play through the lines, switch of play. So I think in the beginning of the game, this is how we managed to solve situations. And I think it also shows off-the-ball movements, penetrating runs, penetrating passes. We talk a lot about coming in behind the opponent's backline. And I think this is, it requires teamwork, it requires a lot of movements off the ball, and you need to have the energy and to do this. Okay, so this is in the beginning of the games where we managed to do these things against a very good team, very defensively good team like Sweden. This is then this is a little bit defensive and transition to attack. So this is in the first half. So this is also 5 meters in. And I'd like to take this this picture one more time, so I need to try to go back here. But see if I manage that. Yes, maybe I need to then go like that. Yeah, okay. So I think first of all, if we look at the distance in between the lines here of our team, so we're playing a 4-4-2, we're playing with 2 forwards that are actually just working together. We're not working on opponent's half with the 1-1 or anything. They work along one another. The whole, what do you say, the way we work is, we need to slide over. We leave the Swedish players away on the other side. They're not interesting. We want to close them. We want to keep them on this side. And we want to force them. And we want to choose where to win the ball. So this is where we actually want to win the ball. So the forwards is working to close them to one side. And this is the whole case. We need to be moving very quickly and take decisions very quickly. And then you need to be, see the situations and have awareness of what to do, and then be able to do it physically and technically and tactically. So I think here that's Essie that's pressing, Ellie comes on, and we're working 2 and 2 in the wide areas, and that was actually 2v1 even. Quick transition to defense, to attack. So what we have said immediately, when we win the ball, we want actually not to play a 4-4-2. We actually want to have Ria in centrally immediately. So a lot of running in that way, but we knew that centrally we could be quite strong, and they are very strong in the wide areas. And so we wanted to get Ria together with Eve and Emmy in centrally. And I think this is a great transition to attack. And I think this is what we can do now against team like the best teams in the world. Pressing is key, working together is key, closing off options. Fantastic pass from Emmy forward, and then yes, we have an attack, and here we can be better, but it's really great. We continue in the first half here. This is also a good combination in tight areas, playing through the lines of the opponents, penetrating pass, and switch of play. And getting in behind their backline, not playing in front of their backlines. We need to get in behind, as we tried to do against Ireland and succeeded with the goal there, as we tried to do in other matches as well. So I think a great distance in between the players, fantastic pass from Emmy, and then, yeah, could have been a little bit better in the final third, but now we're getting to these situations against the best teams also. So yeah, it comes from a set place, but just good balance. Yeah. Okay, and also our goal in the first half. Then we are looking also at a good transition to defense, and then so we're actually into 25 minutes. Don't actually remember, but. Into the first half here, and we are under 1-0, and we're attacking, and we're losing the ball, but good balance, quite good balance, good recovery anyway, and direct penetrating pass from Natto, penetrating pass from Ria, and then a fantastic run and actually a goal. And this is something that we are training, and that we actually trained the day before the match also, because this was the situations that we knew that we could come into, and these penetrating passes that just go through the lines. I think this shows how we have developed our game and what we can do, and the difference here is how many players we get with us in attack. It's just not one player, But we are working in all these situations that I showed you. We're working as a team. It's not single or two players in attack. Of course, this is a transition, so we're already up there. But that pass from Natto, and just quickly in. So fantastic goal, really proud about that. Yeah, okay, so this is then maybe not so, yeah, this is actually not their goal. No, this is also showing a little bit how we want to work and how much you need to run. How much we want the players to run and how much we want to slide over with the team to the other side. And with Sweden's ability, with strong players in the wide areas, with Sweden's ability to actually play the long pass from all their players that can play a pass on 60 meters, we have to have that ability. Either we need to close them from playing that pass, but otherwise we need to see the situations very quick, and then we need to act very quickly. So that's the starting position that you saw from Ellie, then the left fullback, and then Essie. So from there, getting into this 2v2 in the wide areas. And we can take that again. Yeah. Very good. We want the fullbacks to be a little bit wider than the wide midfielder. And yeah, it's actually Essie's run there out to stop the pass going forward. And to, unfortunately I can't stop it, so I need to take it many times instead. Yeah, so Essie here is preventing the pass forward. Our forward Sun is also on ball side. She's ready she's stopping the pass to go back to the center half. And if it goes back to the fullback there, she's pressing. But we want to keep it on this side, and we want, when we go in and press, we want to win the ball like Ellie does. So Essie's job to actually force the pass to the wide player here in Sweden, and then for Ellie just to get the time to be there in time and win the ball. So that's our whole idea. But this is how much we need to move over. You see, it's like 30, 40 meters that you need to run here. Yeah. Okay, so we're doing this really well in the beginning of the game. However, in the beginning of the game, we also actually we lost the game, or we lost a goal, and yeah, maybe a little bit naivety. You can see yourself what you think, but we are actually up and attacking with Ellie here. Left fullback, great that we dare to do that. However, we're not strong enough. So it's a counter, it's a long ball. So we are 5 against 2. Okay, so you can't afford to do mistakes like this in such an important game. We can't afford to do mistakes like this in the Euros. So what can we improve then? Yeah, from this, I think the players will learn immediately. You know what? You need to take this serious. And I don't mean that they don't. I just mean that this is maybe a lack of play against players of this speed. And how they actually can hurt you if you let them. I think that we have players that can take the run with Rolfö. We can talk about the balance here in the team, and if we should have that's other things we can talk about. But just if we see what have happened after Nato has gone, Kuikka here has gone up and took first headers. So our centre half here. So now we're playing 2v2 in the back line. Maybe that's a little bit too brave. So, but here we have players that actually can follow Rolfö's run there. So a little bit unnecessary, very costly goal. So these are things we need to improve, of course. If we then look at, we took a lot of good clips from the first half here. So if we look at what happened in the second half, in the beginning I thought we were quite good. But then we slowly started to be slower and more passive. And instead of doing maximum runs to our starting positions, we actually jogged. And that was for saving energy or for that we didn't have energy. And that's why, we can look at this, see what you think yourself. Okay, so what we say is, problem again, I can't stop this, but we watch it then. Sweden have quite a bit to just drive the space, and quite easy to get the ball forward. And you can play with the low defense and you can stand down there and wait for them. However, you make it very easy for them then. And I don't think that we can do that. So we've said, okay, we start with our defending line, with our forwards. 10 meters in, circle, height. Now we are halfway line, huh? So now we drop 10 meters from what we want to have. We also talk about that if we want to, when we force an opponent to play the ball backwards like we do here, we want to take the team up. So even if the back line is now pressing up, the midfield is not following. So we need to have like really all the players up, pushing up. And also, even if we're playing low, we need to work harder in defense. Otherwise, you just give the ball to Sweden and they can have it. And then you just hope that they won't score. And you give away the ball possession. Our goal that we conceded, I think also you can see here, if you compare to the first half, that our movements are shorter and are slower. When we go into press. S is running a lot and fast. But in the back line and on the midfield, we are not moving as much. And we are walking, and we're not sliding over as much, which leaves a lot of space for actually Sweden to play on and then easily lift it in. See if we can see that again. So what I said in the first half was, we want the fullbacks to work outside the winger. Yes, so we would like our left fullback here to be closer out there and then move over with the back line. From this side, we move over with the midfield also. And now it is a little bit one woman marking almost that we do. So I think this was a typical example of that. We don't have the energy anymore to actually press, to get into pressure, to work together, to close the distance to them, to have close distance between our lines and to the opponent. Okay, so we have still good transitions to attack. Here is one, we win it. Play it forward to our forward. And yes, we don't have any players up there. So yeah, the decision making from the forward maybe is that because she was fatigued or that she really believed that she could score a goal there. If that was the case, I think it was a good try. However, I think we can see that we don't have the energy to do maximum runs to actually support our forward. So it is a little bit like this. When we get tired in the matches, we still are dangerous. We still can score goals. We still can do good transitions. We just can't do it with so many players. Yeah, good defending there. Good switch of play. Yeah, of course, when it goes so fast and you have such a fast forward, maybe she needs to stop, of course, and wait for the rest. But we can still see on the players that there are a lot of players that are walking or jogging up. And if you want to win against Spain, if you want to win against Germany or even Denmark, then yeah, this is a fantastic opportunity to score a goal. And then you need to have the energy to take 100% runs with all the team to support the ball holder. Okay, so here we have another example, I think, of the same thing in the end of the game. Good defending, quick penetrating pass. That's a great flick with the foot or healer. And of course this went so quick, and here again, I think it just shows the same thing. Maybe a lack of decision making here from our forward. She should have stopped. Because we had no one in the box. But there was still that you can see, if I go back one step and you can see then is this 100% runs to believe that you can score a goal for, here we have a chance in the end of the match for doing 2v2. I want to show you this. This is just what we did now after this camp. The last camp was actually a testing. And I have talked about this so many times, but I think it is like this, that if we want to compete on this level, we need to be able to have a fitness level, an endurance level, to actually do more actions more often on the pitch. You need to be able to sprint the whole football game. need to be able to sprint, jump, turn, switch, press. And so it's really, football is such a demanding sport. But on the top level, I don't think you get away with not having the body to be able to perform in. In lower level, yes, then it's more important maybe with tactical and technical. Of course, that's important, but you can't get away with not being fast or not being fast enough, if you say. Because I think still it's the speed endurance that is the most important thing. And now if we're going to play, you know, a game the 8th, and then you have 3 days to rest, and then you play again against Denmark, and 3 days to rest, and then against Germany. These players need to be absolutely physically able to do this. And that's why we did this test now to actually see where are we and what do we need to do to actually to actually be able to compete. And you can see yourself here, and this is not all the players, because some players had to go back to their clubs and some players came to Finland, and they could they could be here to do this test. But if you see then that green is actually where we need to be, where all the players need to be, then you see that we have a bit to go. And these what do you say, these markers here that we have, like for example the yo-yo, the recovery 1 test with 2025, that is something that we have discussed and looked at what other countries have and what we think that we should be, and looked at where when looked at the studies for the World Cup and the Euros and so on. So we have tried to set quite a okay barrier. You can say that green is actually the lowest level that we should be on. Everyone should be on green. So that's really a challenge for us. However, we have good work with the clubs. We have a great understanding from the players. And I think it was quite refreshing when I went to the press conference with Linda Sällström after the Sweden game. And she said that, yes, now the pre-season begins. She said, tomorrow the pre-season begins because I want to be fitter and faster than I was today. So I think from players to acknowledge where actually what they need to do to actually improve, I think that's where it all starts also, that the players need to understand what's required on this level. And Linda is one of the ones who has been on the highest level and are on a high level, and that she understands that she needs to be fitness-wise better than she is right now. I think it's for, if I should say to all you club coaches out there, I think it is like this, that you know, we can work with tactics and we can work with all these things with the players and game plans and everything. In the end, our teams are never going to be any better than the players are. So working individually with players and supporting them individually to make them work on the things that they want to develop, that you identify together maybe, that they should develop. I think that's really, really important. And I say it's really important, especially I have the experience from the women's game, and I know that that's how very many female players want to work. They want individual feedback. They want to know, what do I need to improve? How can I become better? And you know, the better your players become individually, the better your team will become. So I think investment into individual players will benefit you in the end. Because think just if every player gets 10% better or 20% better, your team will be fantastic. And if there's anything I would say now when we come to this pre-season, I think that, yes, focus on this. Look at the players individually. How can we actually make these football players fitter and faster, and so they actually can enjoy the game better? When I was in Scotland for 12 years, they weren't very much for fitness training, I can tell you that. They wanted to play fives. Five-a-side. That was their favorite. Instead of drinking coffee, they were doing fives, and then they had a beer afterwards. But anyway, one thing that I always said to them, because they love to play football, I said, think the day when you are so fit that you can do everything that you want, that your head says that you would like to do on a football pitch. Think that day when you can take all these runs, all these jumps, all these sprints, because you have a body that can do everything you want to do on a football pitch. And I try to sell fitness by talking to them like this. And you know, it was quite refreshing, because this was probably the winter before we qualified, or before we went to the Euros. Then I had one of my senior players in the team. She came up to me and she said, Anna, I know that feeling now. Yeah. Hanno, I get so emotional. And yeah, that's because I get emotional because I think one of the best things for us coaches is not to win matches, not to have badges, but it's actually, oh Jesus, it's actually to take players to fulfill their dreams. And with that, I want to stop. Yeah. I'm quite stupid. Get so emotional of my own.
Anna, you know something. You're
Yeah.
not stupid at all. No, I'm crying here also, because
Yeah.
it's really.
Yeah, but
what
it's
the
because
sport is.
Yeah,
And also that what's our role also.
yeah, but that is the things that I think all coaches will agree with me. It is when players tell you that you have meant something for them individually. You can win all these badges and you can win everything, but that's what really touched me anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah. So yeah, but I'd like to thank Jussi for a great job. And I want to wish all of you, but we maybe had some questions.
Anna, Jussi, thank you so much. Really great and really concrete, and in the end really emotional presentation.
Yeah.
Yes, we have something over here. Ilkka Marttila, he's asking, har du koll hur många matchminuter spelarna har i sina klubblag när de kommer till samlingarna? Hur påverkar det när de tar ut ditt lag? So do you know exactly how many minutes the players had already before, and how does it work? How's the process?
Yes, we have full control of all the players' minutes. And also the 2 weeks before they come into camp, they have to also report what they do every day. But otherwise we have constant control over them. Yeah, so, and of course it affects because it's good if they are playing many matches. We want them to play many matches. In average, we want an elite player to play 50 matches a year. I mean, 25 matches with your club team in a league maybe, and then 5 games with the cup, and then maybe 10 matches with the national team. So that's at least 40 matches. But so 40-50 matches a year I think is good, because then you have friendly matches with the club team as well. But I think minutes, it is of course that we have players in the national team that is sitting on the bench in clubs outside of Finland, and that is of course not good. And it all depends on how long time you do it for, how often you do it, and how many years you've done it. I think it's every football situation is unique. So we can have like in general things that we say, but when in the end you need to go in and look at every person individually. Yeah.
Anna, can I give you some feedback from the chat?
Yeah.
Jani Honkavar is saying, Anna, you are a brave woman to show your emotions. Or a brave coach, doesn't matter the gender. And also Stephen Pollack is saying, Anna, you are not stupid. We all get emotional, so no need to say sorry.
Okay.
And also the last one, Jari Litmanen, fantastic, Anna.
Thank you.
And that's something that, which is something for all of us. And that's about the football, that's about the futsal, it's about the sport, it's about the emotions, and that's something. It's you get highlights. Sometimes you get emotional when everything doesn't work as you wish.
Yeah.
But that's something that really gives a lot to us.
Yeah.
Anna, Jussi, thank you so much. And Anna, thank you so much for your work for Finland. I know that 4 years. One example about the data and about the numbers is also that we all know your network and what you have done for the Finnish players. And you have been involved in the many transfer process also in a positive way, I mean. That all the top coaches are calling you that what kind of players we have and are they ready for the higher leagues, for example.
Yeah.
And that's something, if we talk about the numbers, let's say 2017, I think it was 13 or 14 or something, the players abroad.
Yeah.
Now it's over 30.
Yeah. I think it's, we don't want to drain Finland from good players. That's not what we want. We want, I think it's quite clear that we want to build environments in Finland that we can develop our young players here. And I'm never saying to a player that I think they should go abroad if I don't think that they are ready. And I actually don't think, I think, you know, one key thing for me is, are you challenged in your environment? Do you have to do your best every training, every day? That's when you need to change environment. Then that environment might be in Finland, but I've actually said that, you know, you shouldn't go before you're physically. If you're not physically prepared, if you're not mentally prepared, if you're not, you shouldn't go from Finland. We have really good club environments here in Finland, and they are getting better and better. So, and also in Finland we can take care of our Finnish players better. When you go to a club outside Finland, you're a little bit on your own. So you need to be prepared in all ways. So I definitely don't want to drain, but when they're coming a point where this player is feeling themselves that this is not developing me anymore, then they need to step, and then I help them.
That's maybe the last question before we go to the men's national team. Sebastian Söderholm is asking, what do you think about the trend of the development of kansallinen liiga?
I think it's really,
in Finland.
I think it's really positive, and I think it's great. Now we have even more sponsors coming in for next year, and I think now it's time that we actually get some change of this trend. But we need to continue to try to make. We need to. Unfortunately, it's a hard work in the beginning because you need to train more, and you need to put so much in before you actually can be semi-professional. But I mean, we have clubs that have even professional contract or semi-professional contract. So it's getting better and better all the time. And I think it's good to see that a new team was winning, that we saw cups winning. I think it's been good the last years that there's nothing better than competition. Competition makes people work harder in our team and between teams. So I think I'm looking forward to next year. I just hope that COVID is making it possible for us to develop as we would like to. And of course, you know, I want to see all these 200 people that are here today online in Milton Keynes next summer.
Anna, Jussi, Thank you so much. Really good and concrete points to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.